Good morning. Over 10 years ago, I had the privilege of driving a Formula Ford racing car. I was doing over 200 kilometres an hour down the main straight. Now, for those that don't know, a Formula Ford racing car is a very simple car. 4-speed manual gearbox, manual clutch, manual brake pedals. It's an open wheeler. It looks a bit like a baby Formula One car. As I was driving at 200 kilometres an hour, I realised that that corner at the end of the straight was coming up very quickly. Actually, everything happens very quickly at 200 kilometres an hour. So as I stamped on those brakes, I realised the most important thing that I needed to know was what was the performance capability of this car. How good were the brakes? How hard could I turn it in? And at that moment, I realised I had no idea. So in moments, I was surrounded by a cloud of smoke. I was spinning around, going backwards, and slowing down very quickly in the most undignified manner. Now, fortunately, I didn't hit anything, and I was able to carry on and do the remaining laps without any issue. But I went a lot slower and far below what the capabilities of this car were. Now, unfortunately, this is what most security do to businesses today. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt forcing the business to move slower than they want to, slower than they're capable of going. At Logicalis, we've been running a CIO survey for nearly 10 years now, where we ask CIOs all around the world for feedback on what matters to them. There's a new report coming out soon, so if you email me or ask the team, we can get you a copy when that comes out. There was one really interesting statistic in this survey that jumped out at me. It says that over 70% of businesses say that their transformation initiatives are being held back by security. 70%. The businesses that are winning today are moving faster. And here is the fundamental problem with the way we approach security. We want to be safe. We want to protect, we want to slow down. Business wants to move faster than ever before. They don't want to be held back. They want to win the race. So what do we do differently? How do we change the security approach so that you can get the full performance out of your organisation? How do we help businesses go faster and win? There's been some great sessions already and more coming up where you'll get lots of suggestions. But I'm going to give you two to take away today that will hopefully change the way you think about security. Okay. That slide's not moving forward. We've all heard today that our users are the weakest link. The biggest exploit today is psychology. Hackers are using our own humanity against us. Understanding human behaviour is the key to improving cybersecurity, changing the way we think about our users. We need to first understand that hacking isn't being done by some evil criminal computer geniuses held in a basement with black hoodies on. It's being done by big businesses making a lot of money, even though they're illegal. According to some analyst estimates, the revenue last year generated was over $1 billion These are efficient, modern organisations, and they're spending more time and more money to understand human behaviour, our drivers, and how we act subconsciously. They're investing more than ever in HR departments and marketing teams and even behavioural psychologists. Now, in defence of some of these people, they probably have no idea who they're working for. They think they're just there to help generate clicks for advertising. These operations are extremely organised, and they do A/B testing better than the most mature development teams. They know that human behaviour is to take the path of least resistance. Think about it. The focus of most of their attention is getting your users to open an email. I don't know about you, but I love deleting email. I love an empty inbox. I love ticking tasks off my list. So if I see the slightest thing in an email that looks suspicious, I suspect that that is not something I need to read, and I'll delete it. I think most of you are the same. We all get way too much email, right? But if that's the case, how does it make any sense for this business to target email? The answer is human behaviour. We want to get our jobs done. We want to demonstrate progress. We want to show our colleagues and our boss what we're capable of. And it's for this reason, if I get an email from my boss in Friday afternoon asking me to approve an invoice, my instinct is to do it quickly, get it done, get it off my plate before I go home for the weekend. I could call him and bother him and check that it's genuine, but then I tell myself that I risk looking stupid. I risk looking like I can't make my own decisions and be independent. Now, in case my boss is watching, I don't think that about him, but this is human behaviour. This is psychology. Cyber criminals know that we hate spending any more effort than we need to. Their organisations know this, and this is what they exploit and make their money from. This might sound depressing, but it shows the importance of changing how we think about security. If all we think about our users is they are the weakest link, they can never be part of the solution. So how do we humanise cybersecurity? Allowing our people to be part of the solution and beat the criminals. It starts with us changing our perspective. We need to understand our business. Do you really know what your users do day to day? People don't want to expose their business online. They just want to get their jobs done. But they don't want to do tasks for the security team. They've got their own jobs to do. If we take time to understand the user journey, we'd see just how difficult security makes it for them to do their jobs. So my first tip today for you all is understand your users. It's our job to understand the assets that our users have access to, that the criminals want to monetize, such as personal information about our customers. Take the time to understand your user journeys, understand their challenges, and see what workarounds they put in place every day to get their job done. These workarounds are the blind spots. They're the weaknesses that we have in our cybersecurity. Ironically, if you take this time to understand your user experience, you'll avoid the need for the workarounds, which improves your security by default. They don't need these workarounds anymore if you do this right. Once you understand your personas, you can implement my second tip: personalize your training. So, 90 seconds before I spun that Formula Ford racing car, I was sitting in the pits, listening to a very animated instructor giving me all this advice, explaining the importance of going slow, taking time to learn the track, get a feel for the car and understand what it's capable of before I try to push it. He even shared stories of over-exuberant drivers who had ignored that and gone out too fast too early and put the car into the wall, and how much that cost to fix. Of course, I ignored all this advice. It was valid, but I totally ignored it. Does anyone here feel that your cybersecurity training is being treated the same way by your users today? It's hard to change human behaviour. Habits are hard to break. Cybercriminals know this, and they take advantage of it. So it's on us to improve how we help our users change. Doing a phishing campaign and finding out who's clicking on the links is not enough. Cybersecurity training is not one size fits all. If we're going to help change human behaviour, we need to help them understand the specific threats that they face in their day-to-day job. Understand what the cybercriminals want to achieve through them and get access to through them. Make it personal. We need to create a desire for our users to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Most users don't understand the effects of a ransomware attack, how it affects our companies, how it could affect their livelihood. The more we individualize this experience and help them apply it in their own lives, that will trickle into the workplace. So as you can probably tell by my accent, I'm from Australia. I live in London now, but I lived in Melbourne during one of the harshest lockdowns during the pandemic in the world. We weren't allowed to go more than 5 kilometres. We were only allowed outside for 1 hour a day, wearing a mask, of course. 8 p.m. curfew. Now, if you told me 4 years ago that any Australian would have followed these rules, I would have laughed at you. We're way too laid back for that, right? That's what everyone says about Australians. And yet we all did. And the reason was the messaging from the health department was personal. They told us that if we followed these restrictions, we would protect our grandparents, protect our family. And who doesn't want to do that? So, make your training personalised. Make it relevant. And move away from fear, uncertainty and doubt to storytelling. Storytelling connects the users to their message, to your message. It makes it personal and it makes it real. But this sounds like more work, right? Understand my users, personalise the training. I've already got a lot to do. I don't have enough people to get all these tasks done. And even if I could hire more, I can't get them because of the skills shortage. So how do we balance the skills shortage with skills efficiency and use people smarter? This leads to my next point. Cybersecurity is more than just the technology, but we have to apply automation with humans. Leverage technology with your smartest people, empowering them to help solve the problem. As you heard in yesterday's keynote from Andreas, AI won't take your job, but people who use AI probably will. The best innovations will come from an AI co-pilot. I like this term because we're in control. We set the direction, we oversee the technology, but we don't have to do the heavy lifting. Just going to summarise with one last story before we finish. More recently, I drove a new modern car on a racetrack. Same racetrack, but just a family sedan with all the technology. Autopilot, traction control, ABS. Now, in this car, the instructors told us, stand on the brakes as hard as you want and turn it at the same time. The technology will allow you to steer through the corner. Compared to the previous experience, I was able to drive much faster in this family sedan than I could in a custom-built racing car because technology was automating hundreds of times faster than any reaction I could ever do to allow me to go faster. Technology allows us to focus on what matters. And just like in business, we need to leverage technology to help us focus on driving outcomes, helping our businesses move faster. I've got a great case study on the website you can have a look at from eShop World, and Ray Thorpe, their Chief Information Security Officer, summarised this really well. Manual processes cannot address today's business challenges. In order to be agile and competitive, you need automation. So if we really want to help our businesses succeed, we need to change how we approach security. Where's your business trying to go today? What are they trying to deliver for their customers? Focusing on this will give you a reason for going faster. Next, understand your users, map their journey, help them do more, and the workarounds will disappear, making you more secure. Personalised training, engage your people, and help them be part of the solution. Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. Help them understand the value to the business and how they can contribute. And finally, leverage technology. Leverage AI, leverage these next generation tool sets and automation that can reduce our workload. By humanising cybersecurity and adding a co-pilot with technology, you can succeed in and help your business go faster and be secure. Thank you very much.